And boom, boom, bam. Look at that. We're live on time.
Happy Friday, everybody.
That's right. That's right. We got 13 awesome people out there watching right now. Great to see everybody in. We're gonna talk about a few things tonight. Right now, great to see everybody in.
That's my bad. I got your stream playing.
Yeah, I know you're not used to this going live thing.
I got to get my thumbs up in there for you.
There you go. There you go. What's up down east? Let's see. We got KY Redneck Outdoors out there. There's Matt. How's it going? Brian B. What's up, bro? James K. from Baltimore Way. Great to see you. They've got a tournament coming up in June, I believe.
I like that idea. I got to get in on that.
Yeah, I think my name is in there already, but definitely out there for help everybody out. Always down with that. Gray's Fishing's out there. How's it going? There's that Grn Mchn Outdoors. I was watching that guy's video earlier today. That was an awesome video.
Dude, you were in it.
Wow, imagine that.
We call you Michael Jordan.
Yeah. I like the Kobe moment that's in there. Off the backboard.
There's Paul Boyd. What's up, Paul?
Hey, Paul, how's it going? All right. I think we're caught up. I don't see Chris Everett. How you doing? I don't see some of the other people that we were hoping coming in, but at least we'll have some place for them to go back and check it out. There's my original broadcast brother, Creole Catfishing. What's up, Jeremy? Good to see you. There's Kaz. Kaz did a
wardrobe right here. I'm going to try and put one on for everybody I see out in chat. I saw Creole. Give me a minute here. Let me thumb through the library. There he is. All right.
Citation. Smitty out there in chat. How's it going? How's it going? Hey, Mad Catters out there. There's Smoke, Potomac River Monsters. How you doing? Nephew Austin, how are you? Hey, there's Chris, Triple C. Great to see you, my friend.
What's up, Chris?
Mad Catter, Chucky Morgan, Uptown Chris C. Brown. Well, son of a gun. Oh no, there it is. I can do that with you too. There we go. I'll start with we'll start with Creole Cat.
I'm gonna have to lift my camera up if we get enough people in here.
All right, Lance McCool guy, how's it going? So one of the things, as you can see, Dale Hayslip, how you doing? Annette Morgan, people just keep coming in. We're up to 27 awesome people. Thank you, thank you. As you can see, pinned up to the top of the messages there is Grn Mchn dropped a link. That is the Fishing Chaos app. Currently, there is that is for the Fishing Unleashed tournaments. There is the month-long, which is thank you, Creole. Thank you, thank you. There is the month-long there, and I can flip over. There's Mad Catter. Got that one at CatCon. But there's the Fishing Unleashed. There's a month-long. There's separate weekend ones, and also starting something new for the people that fish the James River.
More than just the James. We even got the Appomattox in there. We might reach out to even the, I'm going to say it, we'll work our way up. Rappahannock and whatever's up above that.
Woo! So check that out. That's the link there. Hey, Catfish Grande in the house. How are you? And we'll start with the month-long one, though, Dan, because that one is a little bit different. Nephew Austin says he's excited about the Appomattox one. That's cool.
Yeah, me too. I'm kind of trying to pick apart some of the really cool areas of the river instead of just saying fish the James anywhere or the tributaries of it. So, let's focus on this section. And really the idea is just to get some people together and, maybe hang out in the parking lot and chat, talk about the day afterwards, or see each other out on the water. And instead of, one person's down in Williamsburg, one person's up in the city, just have people kind of in the same spot a little bit.
There's my good friend downtown, Ernie Brown. And what is different with the Fishing Unleashed ones?
Can you see the screen I shared there?
Let me see. I sure can. Let me pop that up. Let me get this changed around. There you go.
All right, so these are the three main things we're running here. And I guess we're starting with the month-long event. There's currently a month-long event going on for May. And we allow some carp in there too, and some different species of catfish. And you can actually still register for this thing all the way up until the 15th of the month. So if you're feeling like you missed out and you say, all these people only put 0 fish in so far, somebody just signed up today, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, there's 5 in there now.
Yeah, I think that was Ronnie that just signed up. So that's cool. So we had 4 people either this morning or yesterday. Now we're up to 5, and nobody's got fish on the board. So if you think you can take these suckers on, come on in and register and get on in there. You can fish any public bodies of water, catfish, carp, any of your catfish, bullheads too. And this is 15 fish, your best 15 fish. So it's good stuff.
And it goes until the last day of May.
Yep.
So, and the part that I like about that is the carp anglers came pretty close to taking it last month. They did or was that on a weekend one?
That was a weekend one. So we actually have a weekend event coming up. It's a 10 fish, catfish, and carp. And let me see. I think it was this one right here where we had some of the carp anglers right there. You got a couple carp guys right up there in the runnings. So we
Look at that.
Carp, yep, with James Jones right there. Got his money back in that tournament, and he's going to be ready to sign up for another one.
That is that's PRM out there in chat.
Yep, he's out there with us tonight.
So phenomenal. You see, and the good thing about this, Dan, if you can click on those, this is what I like, is that you can actually go in and you can check out and see the fish that other people are catching. Look at the size of these carp that Smoke was catching. That was crazy.
The crazy part was the tournament started, I think this one was a Friday through Sunday. And
Yep.
by like a couple hours into the tournament, it was like, boom, all 10 fish already. Just laying the carp out there. It was awesome. And then I was giving Stan a hard time. I said, these carp guys are kicking your butt. You better get out in the water. So those are fun. We also do something that I don't know if people are nervous to do it or not, but it's a weekend derby fish. So you can post every single fish that you catch. It's not like your best 10. It's every single fish that you catch. So we just had one person in that, so we didn't end up running it. We moved his registration into a future event. So those haven't seemed real popular. I would love to fish them, but I don't fish any of the stuff that I'm running. I just stay out of it.
But that is, I'm wanting to try one of those too.
There's Lance saying that's a lot of bait.
Yeah, so Dan, what I'm trying to do with this is to, you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, well, it's the James River or the Potomac River or the Tennessee, and we don't have blue cats." Well, when you get the open invitation like that, where you can put in as many catfish and carp as you want, well, that includes a lot more people. And let's face it, we may catch some 40-inch fish, but we're not going to catch 10 of them. Where you may go out there and catch 20-inch catfish, channel cats, and have a great chance in that derby of just running it up, or carp or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Goober Gauntlet, the last one we ran, is a perfect example of that. We had, prime time Tennessee River in Alabama with double C catfish out there catching monster fish. He's caught the biggest one we've ever caught in those tournaments. And then who beat him? Clint.
I'm glad. Thank you for bringing up that I was in that one and didn't catch a thing, but I appreciate that you didn't bring that one up. So
yeah. So Clint just ran away with it. He was not on the Tennessee River. He was in like a little local pond or something, just crushing the channel cats. And if you do that for a derby and you catch 40 fish in a weekend, I don't know if I can catch enough 30, 40-inch fish to beat that. But I mean, when I do my videos on YouTube, there's not a whole lot I edit out. So you see a couple big fish, you see a couple small fish, that might be all we get in a whole day. The quality's there, but it's not necessarily the quantity, you know. Creole, funny you ask. I'm actually almost done, like 75% of the way done chopping up a video talking all about measuring boards. But as long as I can tell what's going on the measuring board, you're welcome to use it. The one thing we say in there is, yeah, the musky board's great. I see Matt talking about that out there, but anything that you can buy that's a production board is fine. Even if it's the Rapala board, that one's hard to judge, so you got to be extra careful with your pictures. But as we just saw in the weekend tournaments, there's a Rapala board right here. So as you can tell in the, you want to drop Creel's comment real quick?
Of course.
This is the one problem with the Rapala board, is it's kind of hard to see. I can zoom in a little bit on my end so I can tell what's going on, but you know, if you get a real big catfish on there, those carp, they have a really pointy nose, but a catfish has that big bulbous snout. It can be kind of hard to see, especially when they're the same color as the board. And then their tail getting it to line up and everything. And the one issue some people had with the Rapala board, and I don't know if I can dig around and find an example, but you can see how he's kind of curved his tail fin back there to get it on the board. You know, some people, if we can only count the furthest part of the fish that hits the board. So if you've got the pointy end of the tail off into the grass here, and you're only getting, let's say, 30 inches on the fish, but you know that tail extends out to 31, I can't just say, oh, I bet it hits 31. I've got to go off of what I can actually verify. So I did have to reduce a couple fish for that, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. But that's what's nice about the musky bumper, is that thing's 10 inches wide. You're going to fit the whole tail on there, no problem.
Yep. And Freddie had used the Rapala board. I think he's got a different one now. I think he did get he got the musky tape, and he made his own. He got the musky bumper tape and made his own, because he had the board for the Rapala board.
Right.
He took a piece of plywood or whatnot and made it as wide as the Fat Boy musky bumper, and he had the Rapala on there. But then what he did is he ended up getting the musky musky bumper tape and put that on there. So he kind of made his own fat board.
Well, that's the nice thing about them, and that's kind of what Austin's saying down here. If you get just the sticker for the musky bumper, it's $20. So that's about the price of the Rapala. You just got to do a little bit of DIY and make sure that everything lines up, and you're not giving yourself an extra inch on every fish or anything, and we're good to go.
Yeah, and that's the only reason that is kind of like it is because to try to make it fair for everybody. You know, it's a lot. If everybody has similar measuring apparatus, similar measuring boards, it makes it a lot easier to keep track of, you know, where the fish, how it measures on that board, the way it looks on the board. So that's the.
I mean, even in a month-long tournament, I've gotten down into battles with people or seen them on the app where, you know, it's within a quarter inch by the end of the month, and that's, you know, one more dash line out of 5 fish, and you know, one person's cutting themselves a little bit short with a fence that's too small, or a tail that's not quite stretched out as far as it could go. That could be an inch and a quarter off of 5 fish, you know? So that makes a big difference.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what's great about, this tournament, is it's more trying to get a bunch of people together, have some fun fishing, a chance to, you know, win some, get rewarded for winning some tournament. You can fish whenever you want.
Creole.
Yeah.
And he's got the surveyor's background. That board's got to be perfect. We might actually pay Creole to verify everybody's board for him.
There you go. And that right there is exactly why you try to have the actual boards.
Oh, it's crazy. There's so much more action in like the bass fishing world. You've seen guys like the part that's covered up by the fish. If this is my board, if the fish is covering up part of it, they've literally cut like 2 or 3 inches out of the board and smushed it together. So it's covering it up, and it's just ridiculous. What's going on with people?
There's Max says, I got to learn how to carp fish.
Yeah.
Well, you got some. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, that's one of the best thing about being a catfisherman is you got to like search around and find all these different types of fish to fish for. If you want bluegill or, you know, crappie or whatever you can use for bait, carp is a great catfish bait. And You got to be a good angler all the way around if you want to constantly have good fresh bait.
And there's Mac fishing out there. Mac came in. We're up to 34 awesome people. Susquehanna Stan, how's it going, my friend? Active duty angler, great to see you.
PRM, we have classes on Saturdays.
That's right. Hey man, I would take that up. I can't wait to end of May is the Potomac meet and greet up there. Definitely gonna go up there and see Richard and Smoke and everybody up there. So and since Mac brought it up right there, and there's Haslife. Since Mac brought it up right there, Mac's in the Glizzy Masters tomorrow. There is a few openings in the Glizzy Master.
There's my Haslife hat.
There is a few openings in the Glizzy Master. If anybody is interested in fishing that tomorrow, just get in contact with Has or get to me and I can get the link to you and I can get in touch with Has, get you signed up for that. That's tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Man, I wish I could fish tomorrow. It looks like rain all weekend for us.
Yeah, well, that's why there's some people that backed out of it. So there is some openings. If anybody out there is interested in getting into the Glizzy Masters tomorrow, get in touch with Has or myself. I'll be co-hosting tomorrow. Oh, that's right. Lance has got some brake jobs to do tomorrow.
Oh, man. Do not envy you.
There's downtown Ernie Brown. Dave G is out there. Charlie Wilkes. How's it going? Good to see you. So yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. So definitely, if anybody is interested in doing the Glizzy Masters tomorrow, contact Has or myself. Starts, you got to be out there, about 8:30 in the morning. Be ready to go. You can have your choice of different baits. You get more points for using Glizzies. That's why it's called the Glizzy Master. But you can check out Haslife channel. He's got the information on that there. So we covered the month long. Now I know you said there's going to be some more regionalized tournaments.
Oh yeah, I'm psyched about this. I've been spending all week working on this, kind of laying out a schedule. You've got all the upcoming tournaments. As you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and they go chronologically. So there's one this month towards the end of the month. And this one will be interesting because our water is warm, but it's going to dip back down. So you may not see huge fish in this one out of the James River area, but we are doing the upper section of the tidal river. So could find fish, could find a little dink, who knows, but could be into spawn by then. So this one is on the James in the upper section. All the boundaries and everything are all listed out in the description. I'm already signed up, so I got to dig for it. But right there's always a link in each one. It kind of goes over, this is just kind of like the real brief rundown of everything, but all the rules and all the descriptions are at the links. You just follow that. It's like a little flyer, shows, the upper bounds, the lower bounds, all that good stuff. All the rules, how to take your photos, how to do your measurements, what boards are allowed, what the payout structure is going to look like depending on how many people sign up. And then if you click the link down here, you can actually see like a hypothetical breakdown of how much money would actually go out if a certain number of people signed up. So first place would get so much, second would get so much, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. So it's all right there. Welcome to dig into all that, see if it's worth your while. But more than anything, it's just going to be a good time, I think.
And for those that I know there was some confusion when people started doing these, it's a weekend long tournament. That does not mean you have to fish the entire weekend. It means you've got the entire weekend to catch as many fish as you want. So if you want to go out there Friday, it's Saturday and Sundays now, the weekend ones, right?
The weekends are Saturdays and Sundays. The month longs are obviously the entire month, but these really short ones here are a couple of hours throughout the day. So this specific one is the 21st. So just that Saturday from 6 a.m. until 4 p.m. So, I mean, you don't have to go out there that entire time, but that's the available hours. If you go out at 6 and you got all your fish and you're feeling good about it by 8, go on and go back home and go to bed. If you want to wait a little bit and go on out with the pleasure boaters, come on out at noon. I don't care. But I want to be off the water before those pleasure boaters come out. But the cool thing is with the section of river that we have, just about dead center in the middle of it, is a place called the Lily Pad. So if we get some registration in there, I plan on throwing out an invite, getting everybody to come on in, talk about their fishing day, and just hang out, have some food, have some drinks, have a good time.
Yeah, the lily pad might remember that place a little bit.
Lily Pad's a good spot. So our first one is the upper section of the Tidal River, where you see us fish a lot. The second one is Watkins, which is actually up in the non-tidal section. So I fished that a couple times on my channel, mostly videos, but Chad's couple tournament, I did that with Courtney. We fished upriver, caught some nice flatheads, nice blues. They don't get as big as downriver, but still some good quality fish up there. The Appomattox River, which is down by Hopewell Marina. If you've heard of the James River, I'm sure you've heard of that. So that one's weekend after 4th of July weekend. And, you could always travel and come fish these. If you were looking at coming down to the James River, it's a great time to get out there. I know if we're out there, I'm happy to help with bait or, show people around a little bit or whatever. The next one is end of July. That's the lower tidal section. So that's the stuff that we're kind of exploring a little bit more as you watch our channel. Down in Dinosaur Land, we call it, where those big hogs are. And these are open to bank, boat, and kayak. So this one probably not the best for kayak anglers unless you got a lot of experience out there or it's a really calm day. Because I've been out there when I shouldn't be, and I don't recommend it. So I take the boat when I go down that way now.
Dude, we've been out there in the boat, and it started out the morning, and Dan and I were like, it was the probably 4-foot rollers. It was nuts.
And the worst part was we knew it was going to get rough, and we were even heading in, and we didn't realize it was going to get that rough. So imagine if you'd had no plans for it to get rough and you're out there in a john boat, that'd be bad news.
Yeah.
But it will be nice and warm, but you still want to stay out of the water. You don't want to be like Diver Dan. Then we're back up at Watkins, which is the upper river area. That's a really cool place to fish. I believe this one's a night tournament. 6 p.m. to midnight, so that'll be a cool one. That'll be like prime pleasure boat season, so we figured let them enjoy the water all day. We'll go out at night. And then back down in the tidal section, this one is kind of like the season end one, basically, unless we decide to throw another one in there. But this one is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., so you can go out anytime you want in there and go for it. So lots of options, all different places over the river. That last one is actually anything in the tidal section. So you could go all the way down to just about the Chesapeake Bay if you wanted to, or stay up towards the city or anywhere in between. So.
And there's big fish from top to bottom in the James. It's just a matter of knowing where they're at, when they're there, and where they're at when they're there. It's I love the James River. You've seen us. We went out a couple weekends ago on stand day with Dan, and man, we had we got that one monster in the boat, and then we had that other one at the boat, and who knows how big that one was. That was it literally was pulling Courtney. Well, I tell you what, check out Dan's video that he dropped earlier today if you want to see that one. Literally pulling Courtney. You can see it. It was got that, and man, got to side the boat, and well, you have to see what happens with that one. But
that was a wild trip. That was a really fun day on the water. So hopefully it shows in the video. That's what I tried to highlight there, was how much fun we had out there.
Fishing's been good. We just now started getting a bunch of rain. We're supposed to get that off and on tonight, and this weekend's supposed to be bad weather, but I think it's actually going to help it a little bit because the river's been down. So I think
it's been, I would say, unseasonably warm already. We had that really hot spell in the 90s and pushed it right up over the 70s. So the fish were, if they haven't started already, they're probably thinking about spawn. So that might push it back a little bit and keep the bite good, but who knows?
Austin said he's going to go to Jimmy Dean's.
Not a bad spot.
There you go. That's right.
Well, if the water was clear, it's not going to be after this weekend. We've got rain already. I don't think it's stopped until Sunday, Monday. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's going to be messy out there. That might be the official end of the shad run, I would say.
Yeah, the The water had been it had been clearing up. It had been getting pretty clear, and I doubt it now because it was pouring earlier today.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just looks like steady rain all weekend, from what I can tell. To the point where I don't even think I'm going out fishing. This will be the first weekend, and who knows how long where I haven't even hit the water.
There you go, James K. from Baltimore Way. Dropped the Grn Mchn video there. We had a lot of fun that day. We were talking about that before. It always seems to be, whenever Courtney's out on the boat, when I'm there too, it just sort of, we always seem to have a good day.
Called the Dream Team.
Things always seems to be some mishaps and big fish. So
Mm-hmm.
there you go. That was a question for Haz out there. They want to make for the Glizzy Masters tomorrow. They want to make their skipjack sausage. Will that count? I thought about trying to do that last year with the gizzard shad, and Brian says that's an illegal glizzy. Yeah, so if anybody's got any questions out there about the Fishing Unleashed tournament, or I should say tournament series, the FU tournament series.
Yep, and I'm almost done editing up a video all about measuring boards. So if you want to try and figure out which one you want, that video should probably help. I'll be putting that out this weekend at some point, or maybe early next week. We'll see. Got a little bit more to do on it.
Hey, there's Greg Burgess from Louisiana, I believe home of Louisiana, but good to see you. Charlie Wilkes has a question. When do the shad spawn? You want to take that one, or you want me to get it?
Go for it.
Well, the shad spawn typically they can start, sometimes you get some scouting runs come up the end of March, but beginning of April, you'll start to get some sporadic. Now, this is the hickory shad, American shad, and if you watch Dan's video, the infamous blueback herring that you do not want to touch.
You got stopped by the police.
The Marine police throwing the surprise quiz at us. Well, I'm kind of quizzing you. I'm expecting an answer.
It was like he knew we didn't want to say blueback herring, and he wanted nothing more than for us to say blueback herring, so you can just see the standoff and the tension. I'm not saying it.
I'm not saying it. You say it. That's right. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Austin. I did. I had the bait rods out there and caught that trying to catch bait, end up catching then caught a striper on Kool-Aid Chicken. Yeah, that's how it happens with me.
You caught a catfish on your bait rod in my last video too.
Exactly. And I did it Saturday night.
Did you see that comment?
Which one?
Oh, it's all caps. You'll see it.
Oh. Let's see. I was scrolling past it. Oh my. I never thought of that one. There it goes. Susquehanna Stan has a new way to ramp up the spawn. He plays the love songs.
It starts whenever he's on the water.
Oh my goodness.
I saw a question earlier about the pleasure boaters ruining the fishing, and I haven't noticed anything about it. I really care too much. It's almost like a constant barge bite. If you, not trying to plug this video nonstop, but if you watch our video, every time the boat was rocking, we were catching fish in the last video, and that was just a week or two ago. And that was like,
hey, fields to water chads out there. In my opinion, if it is something out of the ordinary, like if you're on a lake or a section of the river that normally does not have any traffic, and all of a sudden you've got 100 boats flying all over this, well, that's something unusual to them. So I think that can kind of shut them down or change things or turn them off. But if they're used to the boats flying and the barges, I think it actually, part of the thing they say with the barge fight is that your bait rods are back and going up and down. This is true. This is true.
Uh,
But so they say part of that from that is it's just moving your baits a little bit. You hear people say sometimes if they're not getting a bite, they'll nudge their baits in a little bit just to move it along a little. It kicks up some scent, it kicks up a little movement, it gets it maybe closer.
or even look at the video Has did on the James not too long ago. They were anchored up all night, and not until the wind blew the boat around, the rod started pulling, did they catch that monster.
There you go.
You
There you
never
go.
know what it's going to be. So I don't care.
But yeah, so I think I think it depends on what they're used to. If there's traffic there normally, they're used to it. It's not going to bother them. It's like at the shooting ranges and whatnot out in the woods. Well, the deer are used to hearing, the deer and animals are used to hearing the gunfire because the shooting range is there. So it's not anything out of the ordinary to them. So it's not going to bother them.
Maybe we got some like Pavlov's fish going on here. They hear the pleasure boaters. They go, "Ooh, there's free meals."
You never
Let us
know.
go,
You never
too.
know.
They might catch you, but they'll throw you right back in.
Someone may get sink or eye. So we have any other questions about the Fishing Unleashed tournaments? G Style says, "What's the closest you cast a bait to a catfish, and what depth water boat sounds take effect?"
Man, if I could put it right on their mouth every time, I'll do it. That's the best way to do it. They're lazy.
Yeah, and I think it depends on, obviously it depends on where you're fishing. I think a lot of times in the shallow water, they're up there actively feeding, so they're chasing baits, so it's not as close, and the catfish only have two directions to go. They can go left or right. That's it. They can't go up and down, and so they're just actively cruising around on the flats looking for food. Where sometimes in the deeper holes, if they're hunkered down in that structure, they're just sitting there waiting in the current, and that bait's got to get pretty close to them. So I think that's part of that. Depends on where you're fishing. And as far as what depth the water boat sound takes effect, that's a good question. I'm not exactly sure to the depth of sound wave. Again, I think it depends on the frequency of the frequency of the noise. Different types of motors probably travel further, depending on the sound wave. But
the only thing I really worry about for boat sound is when I'm trying to catch bait. Aside from that, I don't really pay much attention to it.
Hey, and there's Team Snag and Whiskers. That's one of the ones I was hoping would be here earlier.
There we go.
No,
they're pretty interested in the local tournaments that we've been chatting about.
Oh, good. So they already know about it. So we were talking about that earlier. Team Snag and Whiskers, some of the local tournaments. I know they're going to be fishing in Jody's challenge at night.
There's a question. How much is the entry fee for the tournament?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Every single one, whether it's a month-long weekend or just the in-person one-day ones, $40. And you can see the breakdown of all the payouts and everything. If you dig into pick an event, like maybe you're interested in that upper tidal section, that's basically from Hopewell up to the city. And you can see it all laid out in the maps. But if you go down to this link right here, click it, boom, it's got all the information in there. Payout structures all at the bottom, percentages, and then if you want to see the real breakdown based on how many people are in there, it's all right here. So like the month-long tournament going on right now has 5 people in it, so that's not quite enough people to pay out to second place, but one more person joins and all of a sudden second place is winning their money back. So you got a 1 out of 3 chance of getting your money back in that. And if it's first place gets $141 for that. Until 6 people join, then it changes a little bit. You can see the breakdown of everything.
Let's see.
And that's all out there on the Fishing Chaos app. And we have that pinned to the top of the comment section tonight.
There we go. That's right. Right at the top of the comments. That is, anybody interested in that, that is the link right there to go to the Fishing Unleashed series. You pick which one you're interested in. The month-long one is available across the country. Anybody, any water, anywhere can get in that. Some of if there is weekend-long ones set up, again, a lot of those are going to be across the country, anywheres, and the regional ones, Virginia series. That's for specific parts of specific waters here in Virginia. So there's something, little something there for everybody. Carp's allowed. All three main species of catfish are allowed, and bullheads. So pretty much anywhere that fish can be caught. There's DMV. What's up, DMV? So yeah,
you throw a carp rod out or two in the morning and catch a couple of carp, and
there you go.
Keep them for bait. Yeah, the one thing we mentioned in the rules is we don't care if people keep some fish to eat or use for bait. Just try and throw the big ones back. That's all we ask. But at the end of the day, it's your fishing license. You do what you got to do. But we're trying to promote putting the big fish back.
That's right. Your breeders, the best genetics are the ones you want to have back in the water. If you want to take some of the other ones home, some 3-pounders, 5-pounders, I do it every once in a while. Citation Smitty, you've seen him fish with us. He takes some of them home. Depending on what day you ask him, whatever his size limit is, I'm taking them home. It changes very from day to day, but he's pretty good at putting the bigger ones back. And Team Snag and Whiskers, DMV, which would be good at with the amount of fish that he catches, he'd be a good one to get into the derby, especially the help me out the derby, yeah, where you can put in as many fish as you want. That would be a good one for DMV. Team Snag and Whiskers asking, what bump boards do you recommend to use for the tournaments?
Funny you should ask. I'm working on an edit right now. She's done. I just got to go back and fine tune her. All about bump boards. So there's the Rapala board. You'll get a sneak peek at the video here. There's the Rapala board. That one's okay. Talk about some of the limitations in there. That fence is really small. You can see it right there. This one is an awesome board, really high quality, but only goes to 32 inches. So you can't get credit for any fish over 32 inches. So don't necessarily recommend that one unless you're a person that, your fish don't get bigger than that and you're going to do a derby or something like that. This is the Catch Folding 48, which is probably my recommendation for anywhere across the country. It's super sturdy. It's all aluminum. It's got you can get a really tall fence for it. But if you're going to spend the money on it, you might as well go with the granddaddy right here, the 60-inch musky bumper. I put an extra tall fence on that when I ordered it. They custom make them for you. Typically, there's a front fence and then a side fence. I had them take that side fence off so I could put those lockouts on there and extra tall thing there. So I guess you don't have to watch my video now. Now you know everything.
But basically, as you saw there, allows a lot of different boards to be used as long as it's we just want it so that it's fair to everybody and it can be the weights, the lengths can be verified, keeping it fair for everybody. So
that's a big thing. Even if you just look at the name of the tournament scene, it's called the Fishing Unleashed tournament scene. So we're trying to keep as few rules as possible, just enough so it's competitive and fair for everybody. There is money on the line, so you got to take it at least somewhat seriously and have the rules laid out. But we don't want a list of rules that's 14 pages long with all these addendums. And just go out, fish, go in a kayak, go in a boat. If you're in the month long, do it all. I don't care. Go on the bank, go in the boat, go in the kayak, have a good time. Just don't use a guide.
Let's say, I'll use myself as an example. Y'all know that we love bank fishing, and a lot of times, if I'm not with Stan 3 or Dan, well, I don't drive. I'm not going to drag the boat, even the John boat. I can't drag it and walk it to the river, so I may bank fish. Later on that afternoon, Dan may say, hey, what you doing? You want to go? Well, hell yeah, I want to go fishing, so I'll be in a boat that afternoon. Eventually, I may end up in a kayak. Who knows? But point being, I'm going to be fishing. I fish different methods multiple times every month. So I like to be able to have my fish count no matter where I'm fishing. So
the same thing happens with me. If you know me, I get a little bit competitive. I don't know if you know that about me. But if I'm in a kayak tournament, I will do everything I possibly can to win that thing, even if it means I have to fish 31 days out of 31 days in a month and sleep on the river for 3 days. I don't care. I'm going to do what I have to do. But there's so many times where I go fishing and Courtney wants to go on the boat or something, and I'm like, what do I do? Do I
In a weekend, I got to catch these. Yeah.
Somebody's ahead of me or somebody's catching me really fast, but I want to go spend some time with Courtney on the boat instead of leaving her home. So here you don't have to make that choice. Just do what you got to do. You want to go fish with your buddy and they're in a bank tournament? Well, you can do multiple tournaments at the same time. It's all good. There you go. That's a good idea right there. I like that.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I definitely think a lot of that with the barge bite. Definitely, you're kicking up stuff on the bottom, and the fish are going to know that noise is going to. There's not a sous chef out there like dicing up shad and saying, "Here you go, here's yours, here's yours." They're not selling sushi out there, so they know when that barge comes through, it's going to kick up activity, kick up the smaller particles, which in turn creates the other fish feeding, et cetera, et cetera. For those that watch there's a lot of comments out here in chat about making sure you pay your taxes, and Iron Mike B and Iron Brian B, and there was little for those that got to see the Has Life live the other night where Brian was out there with them, they had an unwanted guest, we'll just say, and that's right. It was quite comical. Oh my goodness.
Dude, I was watching I gotta remember who it was. I was watching a live the other day. It was about I think it was yesterday, about the DJI microphone that was coming out. And I think it was hooked up catfishing maybe. And the comment section, it was a good video, but the comment section, I was dying. I was having such a good time. I don't know if he kept the live feed on there. It was definitely worth going back to check out.
Trophy Seekers is reminding me not to say barge. Barge actually jumped out. It was a parked barge that jumped out in front of him, crashed into his boat, and took out one of his ugly stick rods.
Oh.
Yeah. You got to watch out. Those barges can just jump out there on you.
Oh, yeah. No, there's just so much going on. It's just everything's kind of its own condensed thing with the tournaments. There's a month long, which is this thing, a weekend, which is a thing, and then the local stuff, which is its own thing. Just trying to keep it simple.
And it basically is just getting going. It's been, what, a month or two now?
Yeah.
I think April was April the first month, I think, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Let's check. Yep, April and May. There you go. And May is still open. If you think you can beat these 5 people, come on in and beat them. There you go.
And remember, there is no different categories. You're fishing from the boat, the bank, and kayak. You're fishing against each other. You can fish all 3. They're out throughout the month, whatever you want.
The month is 15 fish, and I try and cut registration off. Let's see, ticket sales end on the 15th, so about halfway through the month. And that doesn't mean you can go see if you're having a good month and take all your pictures and then submit your fish. You can only submit things once you've registered to the tournament, which is all covered in that document down here. You can only the time you register is when your timestamps start. You can't submit anything before that.
Hey, there's our good friend Shade Tree catfishing out there. All right, so we had some dude bleeding trying to yeah, that guy was had no boundaries, that's for sure. Oh, there you go. There's a good question. That's right. That's from Brian. Active duty angler has any advice for catching goobers from a kayak, and how is it different from a bigger boat?
Well, I tend to catch a lot more of them from a kayak. I'm sitting right on top of my transducer. It's not 8 feet behind me, so I know exactly what's going on right beneath me, and I do a lot of fishing on the move. So even when you're running the river on a kayak, you're going like 5 miles an hour, which is like perfect scanning speed. So you see everything. It's like you're constantly scanning. You're not, starting in one section of the river in the morning, then going 30 miles an hour where you're not even marking anything to the next section, trying to figure out what's going on there. Moving from spot to spot or drifting or dragging. I see everything that's going on down there, and it just helps paint the picture a little bit better about what the fish are up to. And that's what helps me a lot. And, only having 4 rods out, which is the most I fish on a kayak, opposed to, 12 on the boat. It's really hard to drift on the boat for some reason compared to the kayak.
And as far as, I'm going to add some things to it, but as far as actually physically catching the fish, do you fight the fish any differently? Do you set things up any differently?
Well, you're kind of stuck in one position, but my new kayak, which I'm hoping to film that one this weekend, an overview of that boat, it's got a 360 seat, just like this chair. So if I catch one on a rod behind me, I just turn around and fight him behind me. So in that respect, it's a lot the same. I've got my kayak set up like a boat, outboard in the back, spot lock motor up front. So pretty much the same, except you're in a chair the whole time, pretty much. And you got to be careful with your center of gravity a lot.
And some of the newer kayaks, though, are pretty stable.
I was launching and Stan beat me to the ramp, so he was at the ramp already, and I was climbing in. And usually, when you step into your kayak, that's kind of like a troublesome time. You got
Not me, Stan 3.
Yep. You got to stand right in the middle and really ease yourself in there. He watches me climb down the ladder and stand on the edge of my kayak. It doesn't flip, doesn't really budge, and then just walk right into it. He's like, "Did you really just do that?" Like,
yeah.
Yep. Like,
he called me.
awesome.
He actually called me and told me about it. It's like, Dad, you're not going to believe what I just saw. Dan was literally standing on the edge. He even just talked about it the other night on live. He was talking about it.
Yeah,
we got
it's wild.
But my thing I'm going to add for kayak fishing, and as far as handling the fish, you got to be prepared. You're going to get slimed. You get the bigger fish. In a boat that you can deal with them a little better. There's more space, but in a kayak,
you're getting up close and personal.
It's in your lap. I mean, that's just how it goes.
This is my landing net in the kayak, not a net.
In my opinion, from watching Dan, Stan 3, and now lately even has and et cetera, you see what happens is, I tell Dan and Stan 3 all the time that I think they catch more consistently catch bigger fish from the kayak. And even, Stan 3, you've seen us where we just have the little John boat with a trolling motor. It's the same principle. You pick that body of water. Well, you're going to fish that body of water more thoroughly, more effectively, because you can't go 10 miles downstream in 10 minutes. You're there. So you're not going to try to go back to the ramp, load up your kayak, go down. So you pick the areas a little bit more carefully. You fish the areas more thoroughly. And like Dan said, with the speed, you're pretty much, a lot of times if you're drifting, it's a smaller vessel. So it's pretty much consistent with the speed of the water. It's easier to slow it down a little bit if you want to go a little bit slower than the water. So there's just so many benefits, I think, to fishing from a kayak. That's why you'll see a bunch of big fish caught from kayak. You've seen us out in the boat with Dan, and if we're having, especially when you start having a little frustrating day and you think you got things figured out and the fish aren't cooperating, your first response is, well, we got to leave this whole area.
We're running 15 miles down the river, and the whole time you're driving over fish.
Yeah.
I hate it. I can't stand the boat on days like that. I'd rather just be stuck in a kayak, and instead of, running down river or trying a new spot, I'll change tactics a lot more in the kayak. I'll start dragging. I'll start drifting. I'll anchor up. Where in the boat, it's like, I'm anchoring here. There's nothing going on. Where else can I anchor? So,
yeah. And so that's I think that kayak is definitely more effective for fishing.
It's almost like an arranged marriage. You get what you get, and you better make the best out of it.
There you go. Okay.
You're not going to be going fast. You're not going to be going far. Everybody's going to hate you for being out there. Every boat that drives by is going to say, "What's he doing out in the middle of the channel?" It is what it is.
There you go. Has Life says fishing for kayak makes you pick apart your water. Yeah. You're going to thoroughly fish it and say, I know there's got to be fish here somewhere, rather than trying to move 10 miles downstream. So, yeah. Brian Beats. Go ahead.
I say, for the most part throughout the year, probably half my big fish get into water so skinny that I can't even get my boat through it. You know, I might be able to pull a planer board up there, but to have all 4 of my rods going through 6 inches of water, that's not happening in the boat. You catch a lot of big fish in super shallow water.
Yeah, Haz was that was not supposed to be heard. Haz was supposed to mute it. He kind of set him up. That was absolutely hilarious. So, good questions. Let's see. Any other questions? Oh.
Speaking of tactics, look what just showed up this week.
Woo!
Uncle Lou planer boards, baby. A new fresh set. I gotta put those to use. You gotta get a pink pair so we can swap again.
I know. I'll have to talk to Uncle Lou, get another. Because when you do start drifting, it does help having the extra boards. When we've gone out there together with, it's definitely having the extra boards makes a difference.
Yeah, it's even if I'm not marking fish, I know if I start dragging baits, I'm gonna run into them at some point.
Hey, there's Mr. Duggar out there. How's it going? Fishing. Greetings, Earthlings.
Just bought a kayak. You're gonna have more fun. You might have to go through some frustration, but put it away. Go take the boat out for a day or two. Come back to it. You gotta be in like your Zen state because it's gonna go wrong. You just gotta deal with it.
See, any other questions? Yeah, I did. Like I said, I think the kayak and even the John boats, because if you're doing just a small John boat trolling motor, there's only so much of that river you can fish. Same type of thing. You got to fish it slowly. What's up, Slugger? Lee Evans, Kentucky Outdoors. How you doing? So, just a reminder. I see Haz and Brian out there. Haz, do you want to come up and talk about tomorrow at all for a few minutes, since we only got a little bit of time left? I can drop the link out for you if you want to do that. That's right, Cockeyed. I say the same thing. That the 14-foot stand 3's old 14-foot John boat out there. I can sit in that middle seat. I just got to figure out how to hook the anchor up so I can just do that from the seat in the middle. We'll be good to go. That's right. John boat is a kayak for husky guys. Catch a lot of redfish in about 8 inches of water. I think a lot of times, and by the way, great to see you, Lee. I think a lot of times a lot of your predator fish, if they move up shallow, there's a reason they're up shallow. It's because they're feeding.
Yep.
So a lot of times,
big fish, and if that bait's shallow, you're gonna have a good day. What rig do I use a lot? Well, I'm getting ready to rig up a bunch of dragging weights for the spring here. Gotta get my face out of the way. Some Uncle Lou drifting Dock Demon guys. Of course, they're in goober green.
Yeah, I love how they rattle. I just sent it to the group chat. Y'all can check out Lee Evans Catfish Kentucky Outdoors just about every day during the week. League, I think, kind of goes live well after the sun comes up sometime, and whenever hog leg is done. David Smith said, "Oh, when was it Lee's birthday? Is it today?" Let's see. We're gonna bring this person up in. We'll give him a chance to talk about tomorrow since there is some spots open.
You can drop my shared screen down if you want, or I can stop sharing it.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Hey, nice hat.
I know. I wore this hat today. I was like, it's funny you guys put the Has Life hat on. I've been rocking this thing all day, man. What's going on? Dang.
If we were really good, I could like throw this down to you.
What's going on? But I mean, you know, pretty much it seems like the whole country is experiencing rain tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks rough.
Oh.
Oh, that reminds me. There is something hidden, not my last video, the previous one. There's something related to Chad hidden in the video. Nobody's found it yet. It's been out for over a week. I didn't think I hit it that well, but go check it out.
All right, so there's 2 videos now of Dan's. You got to go make sure you check out. Grn Mch's link is out in the description. Haz's link is out in the description. I think Brian B is out there. We were wearing Creole's hat before. I think Creole's still trying to get the watch hours. He hit the 1K. Creole's still trying to get up there to the 4K watch hours. So check out Creole Catfishing. There we go. There's James K dropping the Glizzy Masters tomorrow. Check out the Anglerholics. They're doing a tournament coming up next month for kind of a benefit tournament to help out people in the catfish community with some issues going on. So,
sorry, I had a phone call.
so James, please feel free to drop your the Anglerholics link out there so people can go check that out. Y'all did a live about that earlier today. Definitely want to be part of helping out everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, anyways, Has, well, we got a little bit of time left.
I was saying, you know, we had a couple people had to drop out, which I understand. You know, weather's weather. We set a date for a tournament, and we can't control the weather. I wanted to see what the majority wanted to do. The majority wanted to move forward and go with the tournament. So I was like, all right, you know, that's what we'll do. And if you have the time and you're able to go out there and go fishing, we got the Glizzy Masters tomorrow at 9 a.m. Just reach out to me if you want to participate. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a good time. I'm looking forward to the audience coming out. We had a great time last year. You know, this is the only tournament that I ran last year on my channel. I don't do a lot of, you know, the tournament style fishing, you know, online, but we had fun, came up with an idea, and, you know, we're just going to go out and have a good time tomorrow. So I'll see you guys there regardless. If we're going to go rock with what we got and have a good time.
And so there is a couple of spots open. Get with Has. Hey, Clint, how's it going? Great to see you. So if anybody is interested in that, it's a really unique tournament. Yeah. You get plus points for using Glizzies.
So the breakdown of the whole tournament is, you know, you fish with Glizzies is going to count for double the fish, double the weight. If you fish with cut bait, it's going to count as half the fish, half the weight. And if you fish with anything else, for example, go out there with some chicken or some steak or bacon gym, you know, go fish with some bacon. It'll count as regular, you know, it'll count as one fish, you know, regular weight. So you have to come out with a strategy, you know, and figure out how you're going to do the tournament. Are you going to go all one thing or all something else, or are you going to change your tactics from hour to hour? It's a tournament from 9 to 2, so it's a 5-hour tournament. And what are you going to target? You're going to target blue cats, channel cats, flatheads. You know, it just puts in that different aspect, you know, just to have some fun, because there's so many tournaments, you know, and pretty much all of them are all done the same way. We came out with this idea last year when I was talking with Mark, and, you know, we just ran with it and had some fun.
Yeah, and a lot of the better tournaments, they all have their something that's different. You got the Glizzy Masters that brings that up. Dan doing the Goober Gauntlet, again with the different periods. and you got the hot seat, and that was a lot of fun. Mark with the 1v1, the Survivor Series 1v1 that seems to be really, really popular.
Yeah.
You know, it's so that's what it is. You find little different things. Thursdays, we've been doing that flathead challenge on pontoon jodies. Sunday, stand day mornings, since we are talking about that right now. Stand day mornings, I'm going to start doing, you know, I was talking before about I'm not going to be able to drag that boat out there. Well, stand three's got the new baby. My daughter's been working a lot on Sundays, so don't have the truck around. Well, long story short, it's hard to get to the water now every Sunday, so I still want to put on a good show, still want to have a lot of fish caught, and what better way to do that than have all of y'all out there. So we're going to be doing stand day morning blues for a few weeks and see how that goes. So if you're interested in fishing in that, we'll come up with something, points for the fish or most pounds, something. I'm thinking of we'll let carp be allowed in there also.
And Stan is going to be coming up with a certificate to go out to the winner, so that you have something to display, something to put up, something to talk about in your live streams and all that stuff. It's going to be a great time. I'm definitely going to be participating in it. I know Brian B already said he's going to participate in it. I'm pretty sure Dan is going to jump up on screen and participate in it too as well. Man, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great Sunday, fun day. You know, if you're out there on the bank with your family, or it's not anything serious. You don't have to go, balls to the wall. Just go out, have a good time, have some fun, jump up on panel with a bunch of friends, and have a great time.
And so it's not a whole day long thing, and you don't got to get up super early. I'm going to run it, I think, from like 9 to 12, just a little short, 3-hour thing. Like Cass said, we're going to have some fun, and the winner each week going to get a little. I won the 2 stands, Blues Day, Stand Day Blues Challenge, whatever, and so I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then I don't got to stress about how I'm going to get to the water every Sunday, and et cetera, et cetera. So,
and of course, when he can get to the water, he will still host it and still participate in it.
That's right.
The water.
We've had some more awesome people come in. There's we'll say hello to Circle Hook again. Palmetto Cat. Kevin in there. Dan's been rocking the hats all night.
Dan's one of my favorite hats. This one's called me more goobers than I can care to mention. I don't think Has like this hat either. But Circle Hook is pushing for that 1,000 subs as well, and he's almost up to the 1,000 mark on TikTok too. So check him out on both. Let's give him a check.
Yeah, man. Yes. TikTok is a crazy platform, but it's definitely fun. It's definitely fun.
So definitely, if we could drop Circle Hook Productions, he's out there, puts his time in. He does a bunch of the tournaments out there.
He's the most recent Goober Gauntlet champion with like almost 30 fish in 5 hours.
He whooped my ass that day, that's for sure.
All right, guys, I got to jump out of here, man. I'm going to catch you guys later. I'll see everyone tomorrow morning. I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, 9 a.m.
All right, good luck.
Peace. See you tomorrow.
Peace out.
And we got Uncle Lou in the house. Great to see you, Uncle Lou. Oh, I don't have it here. It's out of reach. Stan 3 left his.
I got you covered.
Stan 3 left his. There you go. There you go. I still got this one, though. I still got my medium action Uncle Lou rod right here. That got this 222-pound sturgeon right there. Hey, I got to get in it at least once every show, Dan. At least once every show. But yes, appreciate everybody coming in. So, and there's Jesse Lopez Outdoors. How's it going? David Smith, Relax and Frustrations. Great to see you. Oh, I like that one. That one's sounding pretty good too. Sunday Shenanigans. Arco. ¿Qué pasa, amigo? Great to see you.
Stan, I've got an idea for you when we get off here. You're gonna have to remind me. I'm gonna write it down.
Uncle Lou says it may be fun if you don't have to respond to all of their messages. There's Brian B. Catfishing. Drop the link. He says 887. Let's get him up there.
Yeah, he's got
Queen.
fantastic editing.
Queen Catfishing, Tanya Hollis. How's it going, Tanya? Good to see you. All right. Well, we are at 9:06. If anybody have any other questions at all out there? That's right. Jesse Lopez says, Hulk, smash that like button. PSA, he's not responsible for any damage done to you or any device that you smash. Hulk, smash at your own risk. We will now return to our regularly scheduled program. Thank you very much. So if we don't have any other questions out there. Hey. All right. There's Crappie Day. Crappie Day, fish on. How's it going? Two, I say 2 stands.
Oh, you got a tumbler coming. These are nice. You're gonna like that.
I know. In the orange. Uncle Lou orange.
Yeah. That's got to be like an official paint code. Uncle Lou orange.
Right? Stop down to your Home Depot and get your Uncle Lou orange. Number 222. Brian says you shouldn't have told him, Uncle Lou. He's saying nobody's live. I don't have to stop.
We could show off your new bank fishing spot.
We could.
All right, let me figure out how I'm going to do this.
Oh, there we go. And we got Catfish Heroes in the house. How's it going, Sean? Good to see you. Got to be getting close. You and Epic got to be getting pretty excited out there. Weather's starting to get warm. Yes, can't forget about that one. Super stoked about that one. Very excited about it. David Smith is dropping the Palmetto Cats Iron Cat Champions Tournament coming up May 21st. Don't want to miss that one. Oh, I got a voice for radio. I thought, Jesse, you said Stan's got a face for radio. I was going to agree with you on that one. Oh, no problema. No problema, Uncle Lou. Dan, you've been had any apple juice in the Uncle Lou tumbler yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Kelly speaks out. Good to see you.
Got your new bank fishing spot in the basement there.
That one doesn't show up as the guest. That's funny. Here we go. Dan's been out doing some scouting for me. And this here, you may see this upcoming on some lives.
Oh yeah.
Up here, well, up in the background there in the upper center part. Look at that tree area down there. That just if out in those limbs and stuff out there, doesn't just scream flathead. And this is up in the flathead area of the river, so.
Mm-hmm. That tree's big enough I can walk right out on it and drop a rod right in all these pockets.
I knew that would be the first. I brought that up because I knew that was going to be the comments we've had in our lives when we go out and along the James, anybody sees the bridges or trim down the log jams or whatnot, that is the comment that comes out first. So yes, that log jam looks promising. Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and this is the part that I like. Y'all have seen me climbing over rocks and slanted spots, and man, it's it's tough. It's tough to bank fish around here. So to actually find a flat spot like that, and the thing that's a little different is that's man-made right there. So it's not necessarily that flat, even thing right out into the water. There is some detours and some different structure and stuff out in the water. So
yeah, you can see there's like a mud flat coming through here and just kind of drops off after that. But this is almost, you can almost walk right off of that, and it's like an endless pool.
yeah, I am just super excited about that. Mike Sampson, Sampy in the house. How you doing? And I may not have won an Iron Cat, but I spent some hours fishing in them. I took second in most of them, and quite appropriate, I will be co-hosting for part of the Iron Cat there, so I'm pretty excited about that. Thank you very much, Kevin. That was awesome tournament series, and just glad to be a part of that. And I know that's going to be I know a lot of people are looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I can't wait to fish it. It's going to be a good time.
Brian B is saying, that's my fishing spot. Get that picture down.
Which reminds me, I've got to shoot some videos for Kevin this weekend. Put it on the to-do list.
There you go. We'll have to, as soon as the show's over, we'll put something together. Greg would like
remind me about it in the comments right now. Yes, I will work on
it. Well, Greg, it's pretty simple. This is actually the simplest way to learn how to do it is to go onto something like that. What happens is we send you a link. You pretty much click on the link, and you can use your phone as long as you have the Android or an iPhone. You click on the link. It's pretty much self-explanatory. I get you. I knew, my big joke was when I started doing this, I used to have to get my granddaughters turn the parental control off of the cable box so I could watch a movie. So that's about as much technology as I knew. And if I could figure it out and do all these lives and stuff, without a doubt, we could help you out with that.
And that's the nice part is you don't have to worry about running the show or controlling the technology. You just fish and somebody else is doing the talking.
Yep. You have your phone. You just got to have a way to hold your phone, and you got to be in the picture with your rods. That's pretty much it. So that is the absolute best way to try to learn how to do this stuff. And then whoever's running the show is the one that's going to try to help make sure you know how to do that and get you set up. So let's see. Yeah, well, it's luckily that is on a section of the river that does not get a lot of pressure, like from just above Richmond down. That's where most of the pressure comes because that's where a lot of the bigger blue cats are. Up above that is the upper part of the river, and this is kind of the beginning stretches of that upper part. There is some blues up there, but the monster blues may not necessarily be up there. But that's where the flatheads are really starting to come into their own there. And you do get the blues up in there too. So, but it's not as, excuse me, it's not as heavily pressured because it's out away from the city. So you got to drive up to it to get out there. So
this is something I didn't tell you about, Stan. I forgot, but I was out for a run. This is pretty close to my place. And this is the Z Dam. This is about a mile down from that last spot we were just looking at. And this is about as far as the fish can run up right now, but they get through in a couple spots and they can go around the other side. This is an island right here. But there was so much shad right in here. You could just use a dip net and load up on bait. There were garter, there were big bass, there were stripers. And you just stand there and watch this whole waterfall. You can stand right on the edge of the road here and you'd see some gizzard shad come up here. and they'd kind of ride this loop and go back out. Then you'd see a big striper come in and chase them real quick. It was super cool. It was one of the coolest things ever. I wouldn't throw a cast net in there, but if you could, you'd load up on bait.
You've piqued Murillo's interest. Do the ad in the corner. He says, and it's close to a Five Guys.
Probably.
There is a Five Guys here in Richmond. Actually, it's in Highland Springs, which is just outside of Richmond. There is a Five Guys burger place. Well, Greg, if you seriously, if it's something that you want to do tomorrow, just let myself or Haz know. We'll get the link to you. Be more than happy to help you out, help you get there. As far as, sending you the link, going over with how to do it, getting you set up. It is really
right.
Yeah, I could send you the link right now, Greg, and you could click on it and you could come up here and it would be the same thing you would do tomorrow, except you'd be out at the river. Well, therein lies a lot of the issues, Tanya. So what some people do is some people will par cook them a little bit. The best thing to do with any type of bait like that, that's really where, in my opinion, I think that's where the Jello, aside from the scent in that, your Jellos, it toughens up the chicken, the hot dogs, etc. So a lot of people put salt and Jello, and it's kind of the same thing. It pulls the moisture out of that piece of meat. So they kind of do the same thing, but salt will do the same thing. If you soak the hot dogs in salt, you can do the same thing with chicken livers. Any of those baits like that are a little softer, if you soak them in salt, it pulls the moisture out, which makes them a little bit tougher, and they'll stay on the hook better. Some people, you got to be careful and check the regulations. Years ago, used to use pantyhose, but a lot of states have blocked that because the fish will eat the pantyhose, and it's a non-digestible material, and it'll get stuck in the intestines, stuck in their stomachs. And then they got that, so then it causes issues, blockages and stuff. So they've changed that to you got to use like degradable things like. No worries, Greg. No worries. Just if you want to do that, just get in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to help you out. twostandsfishing@gmail.com. Dental floss you can use. With the softer baits now, a lot of people are using the gauze, the cotton gauze, because the cotton will break down in the stomach and in the water. The cotton will break down. So I know that's what a lot of them are using. Uncle Lou, the tournament tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Has Life Channel is the Glizzy Masters tomorrow. You may use that when Dominic not looking. Okay. And it really depends on what you're going for. If you want to just go out and catch fish, you want to catch a bunch of fish, you don't care what size they are, you don't care, you just want to go out, have fun, and catch fish. That's when a lot of the other baits, like the hot dogs, the glizzies, your chicken baits, your chicken livers, all that kind of stuff will catch a bunch of various size fish. Can you catch big fish on chicken? Absolutely. But day in, day out, time in, time out, I want the bait that they're used to using, fresh cut bait. And I know Dan will agree, we want it. There's times you'll see us, especially as it gets warmer, we'll fish for 3 or 4 hours and go get new bait. We'll go catch new fresh bait. Fish again, even if we have it in the cooler, even if we have it, you always want the fresh bait for your biggest fish. That's just our opinion. That's what works for us here on the James. But, and I don't care if it's shad. It depends on what waters you're in. Shad, bluegill, white perch, carp, they all work in different parts of different depending on your water situation. Here, we rely a lot on the gizzard shad because we have prolific numbers of gizzard shad. It is the primary forage fish. It is the primary food for your blue cats.
And they're huge.
And they're football shape. I think Stan 3 and Dan are probably in pretty close contention for world record size gizzard shad. The James River Gizzies, as we call them. When you're talking 20-inch gizzard shad that are like this. Hey, Mindy Hogan, it is great to see you, Mindy. Thank you for coming in. Hooters chicken and wings count. Man, I love some chicken wings.
Curtis is looking for planer boards. I love my Uncle Lou boards. This is my second set. And not because I damaged them or lost them, because I want to put more boards out in the water. We can run 4 now.
Without a doubt, hands down. Without a doubt, hands down. I can't say anything about other boards because I have not used a lot of them. However, with that being said, without having a lot of experience with boards, the Uncle Lou boards, easy to pick up, easy to use. They pull big baits, they pull big weights, and you don't need a lot of speed or current, which is the difference with a lot of boards. A lot of other boards, you put a big catfish bait on there and a big dragon weight, and they don't pull out like they're supposed. They don't pull out like they're supposed to. You see Stan 3, you see Dan, and we'll use them even anchored up just to keep the baits out, to have a bunch of rods out. And even just sitting in current, you don't have to be drifting or dragging. You can just sit there, use them when you're anchored up to get your baits out away from the boat. So yes, I would definitely, first place I would check is with Uncle Lou. And, let's face it, you saw that customized board right there, the Grn Mchn board. Come on, that's awesome. No clue.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. It was definitely my fault for tying it too fast, and I was like, I should probably retie that. And I was like, that'll be fine. It wasn't fine. So I blame myself for that one. But anytime they've held for me.
I tell you what, yeah, we normally Stan 3 uses the No Knot 2, and that was the first one that I've ever seen. People say it, and it might be because of we used heavier leader material, so that could be part of it. But I've never seen one come loose like that. And there you go.
Making the boards better? No, they're good.
You fixed the one issue. You fixed the one issue was the clips originally, and
I love these clips.
The new clips are amazing.
Yep, nothing I would change. They're good.
Now, what was I saying? Oh yes, I've never seen. I know other people have had issues with it. We never have. I myself like the other Snell knot where it's pulled underneath and just the only thing that's on the outside is just the wraps. That's just me, but I usually even tie the no knot just because it's really easy to tie, and you can usually tie a super, super clean knot with it. But I tell you what, I know what Courtney went through when my soul was taken. Because when that popped off on hers, she was just sitting there like this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, uh-oh. Oh, man. I'm going to jump out the boat now.
Hey, at least she was talking. That one time you broke off, you wouldn't talk for like 5 minutes. It was scary.
Well, that fish that broke off was obviously it was not a 222-pound sturgeon, but it was the next biggest thing if we weren't talking triple digits, we were approaching triple digits. It was awesome. It was amazing. And that just poof. So yeah, that kind of you get ramped up. You know how that goes. You get that ramped up. You know when you feel that you've got a monster on there, and so you automatically just get ramped up. And then to have it just pop like that, you go from 0 to 122, and then bam, back down to negative numbers. It just, ooh, it gets you. Eddie G's out there. How's it going? There you go. Awesome, awesome.
Definitely recommend it.
Without a doubt. If anybody has a doubt how we feel about what products we use, look on any Stand Day Morning Live. Check out Wednesdays on the Water. Look in almost all the videos over the past year. Watch the videos of how to tie them so many times I should be able to do it in my sleep. Doing something wrong where it won't stay cinched. Huh.
I have trouble with my 100-pound line sometimes. When I do 80, it seems fine. 50 is always pretty good. I will back off a little bit, but you just got to remember that as long as it's not like unraveling, when anything bites on it, it's going to cinch down on itself.
Right. I tried to. Hey, Solo Texan Adventures is out there. How's it going, Ricky? Great to see you. Saying mute Stan, mute Stan. Mike Greenwell out there. How's it going, Bumping Mike? There you go. Thank you, James. G style fishing in the house. But yeah, I like the I don't know. I think it's called the perfect snell, or they used to call it just the original snell knot. The line goes back through underneath, so the only thing on top of it is the coils are on top, and then it comes. But the biggest thing, tell me I don't got a hook here right now. The biggest thing you can do, the most important thing you can do with a snell knot, and if you're using circle hooks, I highly recommend. Circle hooks were designed to be used. Circle hooks were designed to be used with. So, anyways, there is the new fishing spot that Dan has found for me. I can't wait. You'll be seeing that in some upcoming lives. I'm gonna drop that out of there. The biggest thing you can do with circle hooks and snell knots is make sure, it's key that you make sure that it's going the right direction. Because if you have the line coming in from the other way, instead of it pulling on the hook and pushing the point of the hook into the corner of the mouth, it will pull it the opposite way. If you have it going in the front and then pulling from the back of the hook, what it does when the fish pull on it, it pulls it out. So it actually has the exact opposite effect. That's true too. Go ahead.
I only like to snell them with an octopus hook. I don't like the straight shank up top. If I do that, I'll do more of like a Palomar knot. But if I snell, it's got that lean back eyelet, which is, I think it's called the octopus.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the octopus eyes. It goes. You got the shank, and then instead of the eye being straight up like that, it's bent backwards. And believe it or not, they say that the straight eye, is actually more effective, because with the line going through the back and the line going across that, it actually pulls it, actually turns it into the fish more with the straight eye, is what they say.
Yeah.
But I always use the octopus eye one myself. But
so Greg got a good idea with some super glue. You could also, if you're going to pre-rig or pre-tie your rigs, you could put a piece of you could pull it really tight and put some heat shrink over it. Just don't go crazy on it to the point where you're hurting your line or anything, but that would hold it real tight.
Yep, the stopper knot on the tag. I've heard of that before.
Or you could always just use the uni knot. That'll snell it.
The uni knot snell. Yep, that's another one. That's what I wondered, because that used to be a big thing in some of the other fishing that I did. What with the knots was, especially when braids and stuff first came out, was the super glue. I've always wondered with the mono if that doesn't get too hot when it's drying and end up weakening the line.
Let me run to the garage real quick. I'll be right back.
So great to have everybody in. We're still at 34 awesome people in the house. But yeah, that's I don't know. What do y'all think? Has anybody out there anybody else used like super glue? Or just tie a true snell knot? Yeah, that's what I like to do with it. Yeah, I can't believe I don't got any more. I think we actually got all the ones we had out in the boat. And do a regular snell. There you go.
Yeah. One thing that I really like is that's the Nocturnal Nations hook. Oh, which way? And it's got the heat shrink already on there. That helps the snell not bite a little bit more on there too. And whatever hooks you prefer, you could always put the shrink wrap on there yourself too.
Buckeye says, I use the uni knot or the Doc Lane snell knot. There's Big Skip fishing out there. How's it going?
I'm not familiar with the Doc Lane. I'll be going on YouTube after this.
Yeah, Muskrat Adventures has one on there. It's basically the original snell knot. Basically, the tag end is back up through the wraps, so you just got the spirals.
Okay.
Got the wraps over top of it. You don't have where the line goes. With the no knot, you got the line going over top of you got the line going back over top of the spirals. Okay. Whereas with the other one, it's the other line, the tag line is underneath the spiral, so you don't have anything going back over top of it. So it's just as it's pulled, the spirals, the wraps lock down on the line itself, and they don't back off. So once you pull it tight, they don't back out at all. It's just already compressed down on it. Lays flat under the knot. There you go. Thank you.
That's part of the fun of fishing, is you find the couple that work for you. And it's funny, when I first started, everything I tied was a Palomar knot, and then you learn other stuff and start using it and playing around with it, and you find something else you like in a different spot, and that's what you go with.
Yes, and pretty much what it breaks down to is whatever knot that a perfectly tied knot that may not be the best knot, but you tie it perfectly, is going to work better for you than an awesome knot that you don't tie right.
And I mean, just stay tuned. Stan's promised me he's putting out some rigging videos real soon here.
I've said that for 4 months now.
It'll be out sometime this month. So hold him to it.
Dan always tries to lock me down, so I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. Matt's using
third channel without a rigging video somewhere.
This is true, and that is usually if you do it right. That is usually, if you look a lot of the bigger channels, some of their biggest videos are the how-to, the knot videos.
Mine.
There.
Thanks, Stan.
But you never know, Dan. There's still time. There's still time. Yep, and improved snell knot. There you go. Thank you. Yes. Uncle Lou says that Bob from Fins and Finds has a good video on it on Doc's snell knot. Some heavy lines just twist though. Jigs for speck fishing. Yep. Let's see. I'm not saying I know anything, but I know that my hookup ratio went up with the Snell versus a polymer, but my data is only channel catfishing. No,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
I feel the same way, but at the end of the day, if that's what you believe works best, then that's what's going to work best, because you got to trust whatever you're using.
There you go.
Even if other people had a different experience, you just do what works for you. But I have the same experience. That being said, I think you're right.
Yeah, especially if you use circle hooks. If you use circle hooks, there is no, it's, they are designed, they were engineered to be used with the line being attached to the shank of the hook, and the line itself going through the eye and coming down to the shank of the hook. It was just how they were designed to work.
Well, there you go. You've already filmed your intro to your video.
Yeah, check out Big Skip dropping the knowledge there. He also uses a noose knot for hot, heavy lines.
I know. I'm ending up on some rabbit hole tonight looking at YouTube videos.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, that's what makes you get better and better is when something doesn't work, you've got to go figure out why it didn't. And, there's always another way to try it. And damn.
You shouldn't be taking advice from me. I'm the one to most recently break off a fish from a rig I tied.
But here's what it is. We have broken off monsters, and you've seen it. And guess what? We've also landed some monsters. And you've seen it.
Oh.
But seriously, we've landed monsters, but that's what makes you want to go back out there and learn why you figure out why we didn't land them. You always want to go back out there and get the next biggest one or the next fish, or try this next section of river, or go to a whole new river.
But hey, on that specific fish, that was more nerve-wracking than anything I've ever fought in my life. And the only thing I didn't trust was the line, because it got stretched so much.
Yeah.
But I didn't worry about the rod, didn't worry about the reel, didn't worry about anything but the line. I knew the knot was good, the hook was good.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And constantly thought about the line. That was it. And
look, when people saw that video, a medium action rod, and I felt like the rod, same thing you said, like I felt like it had more like the line, you felt like, oh my gosh, this is at its breaking point. It's there. But you didn't hear like the noise coming out of the rod like it's about to just shatter. You heard none of that. And for everybody that saw that for 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Only thing I worried about was breaking off the line and how bad my drag washers were going to be in that reel afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, Brian, you just came back in? Well, you missed this. I showed this a couple times. Just
I don't think he's ever heard that story before.
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, that's you know, I say that a bunch. You gotta. That's why some baits will work better for some people than others because they just believe it will. We were talking about, you know, big fish on chicken. Brian's caught 2 big fish on chicken because that's what he uses. That's what he believes is going to catch the fish out there. So that's but talking sturgeon stories. Well, we're going to start talking carp stories because in the Fishing Unleashed tournament series, carp is counted in with the catfish. So we're trying to include everybody in there: channel cats, flatheads, blue cats, bullheads, carp, and everybody across the country's got some of those fish in some of their waters somewhere. So on the stand day morning blues that I'm going to start doing, same thing. I'm going to take a page out of that, count carp in there as well, because the same reason that we've talked about, Dan, like that includes pretty much everybody across the country has the opportunity to fish for carp, fish for bullheads, channel cats.
I was impressed. There were some big carp out there,
man, and I've seen a bunch of them, and you know, definitely got to talk to Marula about that. He's carp fished for years, and that, I think that's the next you know, coming up area that I really haven't done a lot of is actually targeting carp, because there is some monster carp here in the James.
and we've got the perfect opportunity to do that with spawn coming up any day now. And that kind of leads us to this question right here, because that's not something we've targeted before. So what I do if I'm going to new body of water or targeting a new species is find somebody that knows more than me and start picking their brain. I know I did a tournament on the Tennessee River. And when I went down there, I was just fishing for bait, and anybody that, you know, there's a local out there, I just ask them questions, talk to them, whatever, offer them some bait, and they'll tell you some stuff. And that's actually how I became buddies with Double C Catfish. He was out there trying to get bait for his tournament, and I've been out there for 4 hours catching bait. Gave him some skipjack. He gave me a couple pointers on the water, and I had a great time out there. So he definitely knows more than I would ever figure out in a weekend from all his time out on that river. So YouTube's great for that. You got a lot of people sharing what they do on their bodies of water. And, you know, I started getting into this watching a lot of guys on the Tennessee River, all the big YouTubers and stuff. And what they do out there doesn't work here. I spent a lot of time dragging a spoon around without catching anything. Just saying, when's that gizzard shad going to bite my spoon? And they don't do that. They eat at grass and algae. So you learn and just got to figure out what's going on, really.
Yes, and I agree. You know, if you're going to a new body of water, first thing you do is, like Dan was saying, check YouTube. Look up that body of water, see if there's any things on YouTube about it. If it's a new fish species that you've never done before, check out that species on YouTube. Check out, you know, look a little bit on the channels, and you can see, you can kind of tell what channels, how they are with information and what they know, and bam, contact them and say, hey, look, I'm interested in fishing for whatever, blue cats, whatever. What would you mind giving me a couple tips, or do you got a video that you could point me in? And a lot of times we love talking. So we'll be more than happy to help, but some fish like chicken, like I'm a sucker for Popeyes. Oh, without a doubt, Brian. I've already talked. I already got about a 2-hour block scheduled at the end of the month to talk with Richard.
There's a link if you ever want to come watch our water. We did a whole live show with Chris from Catfish, and we talked about what you need to know at least to get started fishing the James River. So that's what we try to do to help people out, because people are always asking us, where do I launch? Where do I get bait? And we tried to at least give you some tips right there. But you know, there's a lot of times I go and fish a new body of water, and I try and look for similarities between what I like to fish here and what I like to fish there. And that doesn't always work either. You know, I've gotten to spots and had this whole plan in my mind, just looking at it on Navionics and looking at the bends and the channels. And I'm like, that's going to have fish. And then you get out there and there's no current, or, you know, there's something you weren't expecting. You're like, well, that plan's probably not going to work. I better read the river a little bit or the lake and try and learn from there. And one thing I'm excited to do is start doing some channel catfishing in Lake Chesden, which is a lake, and we're used to river fishing. So what I know from the river, I've got a whole lot to learn about a lake now.
Well, Ricky, right now in our boat, in our little boats here, we have primarily just ones that we've made ourselves. I'll let Dan answer for his boat, but
I'll go to the garage.
we are definitely Stand 3 has now got a 14-foot deep V that we plan to be doing a lot more fishing out of. It's actually got the rail, so we are definitely looking to upgrade into some better rod holders. But yeah, right now we've got just ones that Stand 3 is made out of PVC. We do have 2 of them, since it is a John boat, that we got from Ram's Bait and Tackle, with the 2 stands fishing on it that actually fit right into the oar locks. So we actually use those on there too.
I like some smackdowns. I like anything metal, really. You can't go wrong. There's a lot of good options, but here's why I like the smackdowns. This will be my rod. You can put a rod in there normally for anchor fishing. You can put it back here for suspend fishing. Then it's sitting like that. You can put it off to the side if you want to get your spread out a little bit further, or the other side if you want to avoid another rod. If you have one here, you can still use a GoPro as my second rod. You can put a second rod in there as well. Then you got 2 of them in there. So they're just really versatile. I forget how I did it one time, but one time I had 3 in there. It was something like, I don't even know what I did. Something like this, and then another one in there. It was crazy. But you can get a lot of rods in there. So that's what I like to use, the smackdowns. And of course, they're goober green.
There you go. Here's a question. Here's a question from G Style. Oh, and this is appropriate since most of the country is getting rain right now. Brian B said,
G Style's got the best questions out there. Always asking good stuff.
with rain flood conditioned rivers, what's your strategy that you do different than a normal day?
Rely on what's worked in the past. There's a lot of times I've been on a pattern, and then something like this weekend happens, and signed up for a tournament. All of a sudden, you got rivers up a foot or 2, and it's raging. And on our river, we've got we don't necessarily have a lot of tributaries, at least in the part that we fish, upper river part of the tidal section, but we've got a couple pits. And a lot of times if there's a lot of debris, and even with the incoming tide, it's not strong enough to fight the water coming down sometimes. So when the current's that strong, and we're talking like 4 or 5 miles an hour, a lot of times they'll pull off in those pits, and it's almost like a mini lake coming off the side of the river. So I tend to look for some fish in there. Sometimes I find them, sometimes I don't. There's still something I'm working on, but I'm usually out in a kayak, so I tend to avoid the river when it's crazy like that, instead of getting out there and figuring it out.
Yep. I think it depends on flood condition rivers. It really depends on the rivers that you fish and how bad it is, because and what species you're going after. Blue cats love current. They'll find current break right off of that main current. That's why you hear a lot of people that are fishing for truly monster size blue cats. You hear them talk about current seams. They're right on the edge of that current. So there you go. They're right on the edge of that. They're right on the edge of that current. So a lot of times we'll look for things like that. We pretty much don't do anything different. We just fish different spots based on that. So we know when the river's up that some spots are better than others. And when the river's down, it's pretty much the exact opposite. When the river's down, we're trying to find current. When the river is up high, we're trying to look for that little bit less of current. So the current And you'll hear Epic talk about it a lot. Like catfish feed in a specific current range. So pretty much that's what you go for. Susquehanna Stan brings out a good point too. He pounds the banks when it's up because that's going to be dragging in a lot of night crawlers and bait and everything else. And same thing, once it gets up on the bank a little bit, that current's going to be, it's still going to have some current going through there, but it's going to be not quite as much current as out in the main channel. So
there's your Earth Science 101 for you. The fastest current in a straight section of river is right in the middle. So the fish are going to get outside, maybe find something to hide behind, look for an eddy, look for a current seam, something like that.
Smaller canals, there you go, same type of thing. Yep. Yeah, basically a flag, just like the I know what Uncle Luke, how he could understand it. You know how when we were kids, we'd like that flag sticking up out of the back of the bike? Or on the go-kart, you got that flag coming up out the back of the go-kart? That's the kayak flag.
Oh, now I get it.
Let's see.
Yeah, so depending on what boat you've got, they've probably got a base somewhere that you would screw the rod holder into, and that just kind of mounts in your track. I know I've got my boat, luckily came with some. The guy that owned it before me had a buddy that was a welder, so he aluma welded some up for me. I've got a local guy here. He puts whatever angles I need on there. That's a Zebco Rick. If you're anywhere near the James River, he does a great job with that stuff. He's made some rod racks for me, made some stuff for my trailers. Just find a good guy that works with aluminum, and he'll hook it up for you. Or there's a lot of production stuff out there too.
I believe that they are coming out with, if they haven't already, wasn't Catfish Clothing coming out with some brackets?
Let me go to the garage.
Sorry, Dan. Catfish Clothing, www.catfishclothing.com. They are getting into like accessories and things like that. I'm sure that, I think that Chris has some. There is also, if you check with Monster rod holders and Smackdown rod holders, a lot of times they will have the bases that they sell there.
This Catfish Clothing mount. So what you could do is, this is the older one that I have. I've picked up the new one since, but these were the brackets my buddy was telling me about. So that's, or I was just telling you about, that's the angle I've got on my boat. This is for my John boat to mount my bimini top on. We could do the same thing here. So it's got a flat plate up top, and you would bolt this through the boat. But if you've got a track system, you would just use T-bolts on the back and then fasten them down with like a lock nut washer up front, and then just have it big enough where you can mount your cutting board up top or whatever, and that would work out really well. But Catfish right now has one that you can kind of swivel and set up and then have it sticking straight up no matter what angle you have on the side of your boat. It's like a universal fit. But this is my old one. This will be part of a giveaway soon, and we are very close to 2,000 subscribers, so it's coming at you.
So there you go. That's basically, if you know somebody that fabricates, you can have somebody fabricate one for you. Or if you know a business that does it, you can pay them to do it, or you can check out Catfish Clothing, or check out pretty sure Monster Rod Holders and Smackdown probably have the rail system. So a lot of boats have that, and there's a lot of people that don't want to screw down into their boat. So another awesome question. Let's see. Smaller canal.
I almost went and did the show from my garage today. I was going to tie up some rigs and sit out there. Just cleaned everything off this past weekend. I wouldn't have had to run back and forth.
There you go. Well, it was only supposed to was only supposed to be a quick one. We were going to go over, just normal hour. Imagine that, just a normal 1 hour show.
Hey, it feels good to be able to help people with questions because I know I've got a lot of them, and YouTube's usually where I go to find answers to them.
Hey, there's Missy Kennedy in the house. How you doing, Missy? But yeah, any other questions out there? This has been a lot of fun. I love doing the questions. I've been doing the show with Kaz on Thursday nights at 7, Catfishing with Kaz, and she's doing a Fishing for All. So kind of starting out with basic kind of, we covered the differences between the reels, spin cast, spinning, and bait casting reels, and we covered some knots. And
you're going to be doing a series on knots real soon, right?
I promise, yes. Thank you for holding me to it. I had a great idea for the whole winter time and let that slip right through. But no, it's still the perfect time for it because spring is coming. The end of spring is coming. Before we know it, we're going to be into the fall with the big, big boy season. So let's see.
That's a good point. Usually a flat can hold some fish too, because a lot of times the current isn't as strong in a flat.
Exactly. We've got wasn't a monster fish, but last fall, I think it might have been November-ish, Stan 3 and I were fishing the bank, and it was I don't know if you remember not this past fall, the fall before that. So pretty much after we were just getting started, and that was when the really big floods were hitting Richmond. They actually closed the floodgates, and but we still went out there for stand day, and it was just brutal out there everywhere. Well, we went on the shore from Bang, where that discharge is, right where it came through there. It kind of was like that current break right there, and we ended up catching Stan 3 got that gizzard shad, and bam, we ended up catching that like 20-some pound, almost 30-pound flathead.
That'll make a day.
Just right there. But it was the only spot, like there was so much current everywhere, it's like you couldn't fish anywhere, and we just happened to find that current break right there, just on the bank. That was the day that Smitty, Citation Smitty, he was catching fish because he found the current break over there with the bridge. He was using the shallows by the bridge right there. Same thing, the shallow flats up there by the bridge. The current wasn't as strong right there, and they were just stacked up in there, and he was catching a bunch of them behind us. And once we got the bait and figured that out, that's when we started getting a few.
Yeah, and I don't remember when we were talking about this, but I forgot to bring it up. But I'm just trying to learn more about the river, and you can spend as much time as you want out there, but other people are always going to know more. And even just your fishing buddies, I can't tell you how many times I've been at work, and then on the way home, I'm calling Stan 2 or Stan 3 being like, I was thinking about this. What do you think? And he's like, well, I tried this and that didn't work, but maybe this. Or, I had a really good night. This is what I tried. Never tried it before. Maybe that's a pattern there. And then the next trip, I tried it at work too. Or, you just got lucky that day. So it's more than just what you can learn yourself, honestly. And YouTube's a good spot for that. But at the same time, people aren't always saying everything on YouTube. So get your fishing buddies, get the people you trust, and bounce some ideas around.
On your own waters, because it's going to be a little different everywhere you fish. And one of my big things, you've heard me say it to Dan, you've heard me say it to Stan 3. I love when I got to say, dang, I was wrong. Because that means we caught fish, and I learned something new. The dragging in 2 to 3 feet of water.
I still remember the first time we did that. You were down sitting on your phone, and you're never sitting on your phone on your boat. You're always watching the rods. You're probably like, we're not going to catch a single fish.
No, I was laughing at you. I'm like chuckling under my breath, like, we ain't going to. We're in. I'm looking at the depth finder, and we're so shallow, like it's not even reading. I'm like, we're not gonna catch anything here. This is nuts. And all of a sudden, boom. You heard that fish. We heard the fish, It's how shallow it was. We actually heard the fish before it hit because it was dark. And then all you saw was this thing because it was that shallow. It couldn't go down. It couldn't go anywhere. It was just sideways at about 150 miles an hour, just screaming.
You hear the
So
smack
that
when you
was,
see us trying to figure out which rod's going to go. I'm like, that
yeah.
rod.
Oh, after that, the phone was down. I'm waiting. I'm looking.
I almost want to not bump, but hold the rod while dragging. That would be insane.
That's kind of what I was doing Saturday night with the, bump drifting, I guess we'll call it, where it was instead of suspend drifting, I was just ticking it. I had the bail open and I was just kind of ticking it on the bottom.
Yeah.
So if it, it was in my hands, and if it dropped, if we went from like 9 feet to 11, I let it just drop immediately. If I wasn't constantly feeling that little tick, 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 I let line out. And if it started where we were going up a little shallow, I'd bring it up. And so very similar. It was very similar to bumping because that's technically what I was doing. I was keeping that bait in constant tick, tick, tick right off the bottom. But man, and we were using shrimp, and those, even the dinks that were hitting were just crushing it. I mean, crushing it. Like wanted to take that rod out of my hand, crushing it. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a good question for Susquehanna, Stan. If anything,
the layout itself, I would prefer to have more deck space in the back, and I'd give up some of the upfront room and move the console up a little bit. If I had to do it, they've got the live well up front, so if you could probably take that 2 or 3 foot section right there and just kind of move the console up and put the live well in the back, that'd be nice. But I do like having the live well up front too. It's different. It's a different boat. It's not built like most catfish boats because it wasn't designed for one. So I enjoy it. I'd definitely put a cover on there. I'm saving up for it. A little enclosure. That would be nice because that's one of our favorite times to fish. Middle of winter, 22 degrees.
Bad weather. Bad weather. Yep.
Yeah, we need an enclosure bad.
Yeah. Haz and them are still laughing at us that night. They were talking about how cold it got inside the enclosure that was already heated for most of the night, and their buddy heater happened to go out. So they were without a buddy heater in an enclosure, for like 10 minutes, and it was so cold.
Really roughing it.
Yeah. And there we were out in the But what a difference the just having that windshield, the wind blocker, makes a huge difference. But when Dan didn't like the layout of his boat, he just went and got a different boat that he liked a little better, and that's
This one's gonna be around a while unless something unforeseen happens.
But it's an excellent boat to fish out of. It's there's plenty of room.
I'd like to not have the live well up front, or at least get the windshield up further, but that would probably put the live well in the back, and not having the live well back there is what I like probably the most about the boat. You can walk right up to the transom.
Yeah. It does make for fighting the fish a lot better having that where you can get right to the rail.
I'd probably give up my rod lockers too. I sit on them a lot, but I'd rather have like bench seats on the side, almost like those big walleye boats have, or like just put coolers there.
Well, and you say that until we're on the James and we run into School of White Perch, and you can just pull your sabiki rods out, or
Yep, it is nice having that there, but I don't put catfish rods in there often.
Hey, Jesse, Outdoors Addiction, how you doing?
And then at the same time, when we have more than 2 or 3 people on the boat, we just have people sit on the rod lockers instead of putting chairs in the middle of the floor. So it's a give and take. No boat's perfect. I'm not sure I'd change anything.
Susquehanna Stan he needs couches on his boat.
I know. That might be my favorite sea arc. If I drool over anyone, it's the Easy Cat with the pontoon benches up front. Oh, man, that looks awesome.
Susquehanna Stan's got the pontoon cruiser, so.
Yep. I could do a pontoon. I don't know how well it would do in the wind out here, but I could be happy with a pontoon. I think, at least.
I think so too. Think of the enclosure you could put on that thing.
You could live on it.
Oh, don't think we wouldn't if.
We already do.
And think about the pontoon. You could actually have it where that is the hardest part for myself, being in any boat or anything like that for an extended period of time, is not being able to just. It's difficult to get pressure off my back. That's the biggest issue. So like with a pontoon boat where you actually have that availability for something like that, that's pretty cool. But we've been live for 2 hours and 6, and because we actually even started on time tonight, so y'all can blame the bad weather on me. That's we started on time. So anybody got any other questions out there? If not, we're gonna jump on out of here.
I have a question. Can I go to bed now?
Yeah. Dan says he'd rather the couches in the back where the rod lockers go. Yeah, I definitely. I'm gonna be up tomorrow morning helping co-host the Glizzy Masters. Gonna have a lot of fun with that. So again, if anybody's interested in doing that, get with HasLife, or you can even contact me. There is a couple of spots open due to weather cancellations. So if you're looking to enter a tournament, that's the HasLife. I know there's going to be some prizes and a bunch of stuff going on there tomorrow, so that's going to be a lot of fun. But if there's no other questions out there, well, thank you, G-Style. We appreciate you being out there. And like Dan said before, the questions, I love the questions that you ask. I really enjoy talking about fishing, obviously. And I'm just glad to help anybody with anything like that. I really enjoy that aspect of it. So definitely appreciate out there watching. Thank you for your support. And with that being said, oh, we got to jump out of here now. There's 22 people watching. Perfect time to leave. So Susquehanna Stan, glad to see you're doing a little better. Mac Fishing, that's right. And that's Two Stands Fishing family member, Mac. Appreciate you being out there. He did great in the bank tournament in the month-longs. Check out Mac Fishing. He's been catching some nice fish out there. Good Mike Irvin, see you later. So that being said, thank you. Appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning on the Glizzy Masters. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being up, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Check out the link that's at the top. That is the Fishing Unleashed series, the FU series. You definitely want to check it out. There is a tournament in there for everybody. And at $40, if you're going out fishing, why not have a chance to win some money back? So we'll talk to everybody later. See ya.